Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game, and this weekend is the FA Cup as the return of the third round, and West Ham have been drawn at home to Wolves. I am Geo from HammersChat.com and I'm joined by Gonzo from HammersChat.com. Good evening, Gonzo.
Good evening, sir. You okay?
I'm not bad. Yourself? You looking forward to the magic of the FA Cup?
Very much so. Yeah, taking the little one, so she should hopefully enjoy the magic of the FA Cup and hoping to see a decent strength team.
We've got a new face with us tonight. I'm delighted to welcome him. I'll let him introduce himself. New guest, introduce yourself.
Alright guys, my name's Adam Leatherbarrow. I'm a Reaver Part 2 architect and I do some part-time articles for West Ham World.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for giving up your time, Adam. We do appreciate it. But let's get into a chunky topic. I think this topic should be open to a debate. I think it's going to split supporters right down the middle. Chris, Gonzo, one question. Would you take 4th spot and go out on Saturday, or finish 12th but a cup final, not winning the cup, not necessarily winning the cup, but just the day at Wembley? Which do you pick, Gonzo?
Well, they're two very different things for me. I've had a day out at Wembley and Steven Gerrard completely spoilt it, and Lionel Scaloni. So
I think you'll find you were probably in Cardiff when you were watching that game.
I was in Cardiff, yeah. I was. Who cares? You know what I mean. What's a principality between friends? No, it's. I think they're two very different. Would I want a day out at a final and exchange that for Champions League football? Probably not. Would I exchange winning a trophy? I desperately would. I was born in 1974. I watched us on telly lift our last trophy in 1980. We don't count the Intertoto Cup. Sorry to everybody that won it. So yeah, if we win it, I'll swap it. If it's just a day out, top 4.
Adam, same question for you. Top 4 or cup final, and would winning the cup final change your opinion?
It is a tough one. As much as everyone loves a day out, I think I wouldn't mind losing on the weekend. I know it sounds really bad, but the lure is top 4 nowadays, and that's where the financial benefit is for the club. So I would go out Saturday and take top 4 straight away.
Perhaps a controversial question then, Adam, but does that mean the money, you're talking about the money which comes from TV revenue, does that mean TV has spoilt your ambition as a West Ham fan?
No, not at all. I think we're probably more ambitious because the lure is there. I mean, if an FA Cup, I think the whole structure of the FA Cup is a bit prolonged. I mean, like, you've got replays now. It needs to be modernised for a modernised game because we're getting so many more games in the season. Back then that would take things away from the smaller clubs of the FA Cup. You know, you get like your Braintree Towns going to West Ham and getting £500,000 payout, which financially secures them for 10 years. But I think being in the West, we just got to be a bit selfish, and we can't think of all those lesser clubs. We need to go for top 4 because that is where the money is, and that's what I'll take. Yeah,
I'm with both of these actually. I would take top 4 as well, and I think money has spoiled the FA Cup a little bit. But I think you're bang on, Adam. I think they need to modernise it a little bit. Maybe even start the FA Cup at the start of the season and have it as a season-long competition, so that it only pops. You only get one game every 2 months, and it's not really going to affect anyone. You're right. I think it's 6 games. If you were to get to the cup final, including the cup final, at 6 games. If we enter round 3, there's clubs in that competition from qualifying round, and that's trying to get to the full slog. I don't think the reward is great, but like you said, you finish top 4. It's not just about the money. It's about the lure of the player that you're going to take to West Ham United. You go to that new stadium and you can say, we are now a Champions League club.
Exactly.
Do you think Champions League football is achievable this season?
Yeah, but I think there would have to be a little bit more investment in the transfer window, in the up-and-coming transfer window. It sounds horrible to say it in many respects, because if Leicester did finish in the top 4, really, it would be a victory for football. I'm one of the attractions, part of the allure of the Premier League is that we're not the Bundesliga. You know, for the past 2 or 3 seasons, Bayern Munich have had that wrapped up. PSG will have the French league wrapped up. Again, Atletico Madrid have made La Liga slightly more interesting in recent seasons, but it's a two-horse race, and of course you've got your own league up there in Scotland, which is a one-horse race. I think it really does spice things up at the start of the season. You don't know. Last year's champions Chelsea are right down there, so I would like for the game of football itself, Leicester to do well, but if we're going to get up there, we really need them to drop off. I would suggest, as far as we're concerned, we probably could if we invested, but Man United are not going to be happy where they are. They're going to invest. Liverpool are probably going to invest, so I think it's going to be extremely difficult.
Well, let's look at our own game then. We're at home to Wolves in the Championship. They've won 3 on the bounce, clean sheets in all 3 games as well. Adam, do you know much about Wolves at all?
Funny enough, my dad has a secret love for them. He used to support them as his second club when he was a little boy. So yeah. So
Well, tell us what you know then. Don't keep it secret.
I wouldn't say I've got inside information about Wolves, but from what I've seen this season about in the Championship, they're a bit hit and miss. I mean, they've got an ex-Millwall manager in Kenny Jackett, which seems to be rejuvenating the squad. I mean, he picked them up from when they was in League One. They got promoted straight away, and they've had a steady season in Championship afterwards. But this season, they have got a really good striker in them, Benik, who signed from Arsenal, I do believe, and he does the top draw. I mean, we was linked with him in the summer. Like a few rumours were coming in for a Championship striker, and if an offer come in for him, I would be very pleased if he come in at West Ham. But I think we need to be wary of them. They've got similar type of form. They've got similar same amount of points, but although they're scoring goals, they're letting in a few. And I just think it's one of the sides we have to be a bit wary. We have to have a pretty solid squad just to turn this team over.
Fantastic. Well, you know a hell of a lot more than I do about Wolves. I watched their game against Brighton, and it wasn't very good. I got bored at half-time, turned over. Gonzo, do you know anything about Wolves?
I can't believe we've got someone on the show that actually knows what they're talking about. All this information was going forth. I think they play in gold, and they might have a wolf as a logo. No, I don't know anywhere near as much as Adam, but what he said about Kenny Jackett, if you remember, I think our own Roger Johnson was there for a while, wasn't he? And I think what happened is when Jackett came in, he literally got rid of all the old guard. They lost Michael Kitely as well. Matt Jarvis obviously came to us, so I think he had to sort of start again, didn't he, over there? But I mean, I couldn't tell you how good they've been this season. I don't really care. I just want us to take it seriously and crikey, we need to be able to beat a team like Wolves with our team,
Gonzo, you said there we need to take this seriously. How serious does Bilic take it? Because he can rotate. He's got a lot of players sitting on the bench. If he was to rotate the whole 11, he could essentially field Payet, Song and Reed if he wanted to. But how serious do you think Bilic should be taking this in terms of his lineup? Does he risk Payet? Because we play Bournemouth on Tuesday.
I mean, in light of what I said, what are we looking at? Why do we should be taking Bournemouth seriously? Yes, but it goes back to your original question at the start here. I don't think we're going to finish top 4. I don't think we're going to capitulate. I think we'll probably finish in the top half. I really want us to win a trophy. No rotation. I think when you try and rotate, it sends out the wrong message to the players. So don't rotate at all. I understand what you're saying. Yes, okay, you could, play Tompkins in the middle. He could play Reece Oxford there. He could still field a strong lineup. Obiang in the middle, and so on and so forth. But do you know what? Let's stick with it. Let's play Antonio. Let's start Payet. Let's give Payet a bit of time as well. Let's keep Collins at the back, and let's really take it as seriously as we can. And what a way it would be to go out at the final season at the Boleyn. I know the final wouldn't be at the Boleyn, but it would be great to win a trophy in the last season.
Adam, do you agree with that? What side do you want to see Bilic taken out, or do you think there should be a slightly more rotation than that?
I think we have to be very, very cautious. I mean, what with the injuries that we've suffered at late, and we've been fairly good responding to that by not losing games. I mean, the first game we lost without Payet was the Tottenham game. And ever since that game, we've gone unbeaten in 7 games. So I don't know. You got to look at it as if, is our second string squad good enough to make us progress in the cup? And if you take away all the first teamers and played the reserves, would we get through? And I don't think we would. So I don't know. As big as a risk it is to field Payet, Reed, who's just gone back from injury, Moses, if he's allowed to play in the cup, Andy Carroll. I don't know. I don't think it's worth putting the first teamers in there just because we've got Bournemouth in the midweek. I think it's Tuesday evening away. So I think the priority is the league. As sad as it is, but as much as I want to see Payet play and Reed play, as I'm going there Saturday, so as much as I want to see them, it might be the last FA Cup game at the Bowl-in its history. So if I was Bilic, I wouldn't risk the first team squad for the game at Wolves.
I'm half and half. I think you should be looking at that team and saying, what positions are we short on? Right, we're short on striker. Carroll's coming out. And we put someone else in there. He said centre backs were maybe a bit light. Reece Oxford, we stick Reece Oxford in. I think he should rest 2 or 3 players but I think centre mid, we're fine. We've got Kouyaté, Noble at start against Liverpool. We've got Song and Obiang on the bench. You start Kouyaté and Noble for me, and if you need to rotate on Tuesday, Song and Obiang are more than capable of stepping in. I agree with Gonzo on that aspect. What's that, sorry?
Who would be your team on Saturday then? Starting line-up Saturday, who would it be?
Well, I would just, like I just said, I would start who started against Liverpool, but I would take out maybe Carroll. I don't know who you put in up front, in all honesty.
You don't put in.
That's the thing.
I think you need to protect Carroll.
Sorry, guys. You've taken out Carroll. He's a first-team starter at the minute, isn't he? Who'd you put in? Yelovic, who isn't match fit at all. Do you put in a youngster? Do you put in Elliot Lee? It's the cup is an opportunity to field our second-string squad, and it just proves how strong our squad is. At the moment, we're strong because we have a good first 11 and we have good subs. But if we play those subs in replace of the first team, would it be enough? And that's just what I'm querying at, really.
There's only one way to find out, Adam, and you talk about Elliot Lee there, and I think he's at the age now it's make or break. You give him if I wouldn't personally give him the chance against Wolves. I'd prefer Valencia up front and give Valencia the chance up front on his own. Say this, you want to play up front. This is your chance. This is you, because Carroll did the job against Liverpool. He's starting against Bournemouth unless you put in a 10 out of 10 performance, and then I'll be keeping Carroll on the bench and you keep that shirt against Bournemouth, Mr. N or Valencia. But you give him his chance. I don't think he would take it personally. Gonzo's the same as me, but we would need to see him in these positions, and I would rather see him in that position against Wolves than against Bournemouth, in all honesty. I would rather risk an emergency situation where we take Carroll off the bench in the FA Cup game, then go 1 down against Bournemouth and we're panicking, thinking we're dropping points. We're only 4 points off top 4, and we've got Bournemouth and Newcastle up next, and I'm expecting 6 points out of 6 against those 2 teams. And in all honesty, if we want European football, we've got to be aiming for 6 out of 6 for that. And then it puts us in going into against Man City at home. Who knows where we'll be in the league? Who knows how far off top 4 we'll be? Adam, are you confident though?
In regards to what?
Saturday, do you think we're going to win, regardless of what team Bilic puts out?
As much as I want them to win, I don't think we will. I just think I know your eyebrows are raised. I mean, I wish you could see mine, but I just think Wolves, they're on a pretty good bit of form. They've got a couple of good little players in there. I think it's going back into like the Allardyce mode, isn't it? Like sacrificing the competition for Premier League survival. But Premier League survival is the priority this year. I mean, because if we go, we could still go down. I know it sounds bad, but we could still go down. And if we went down, and the fact that we've spent all that money before we've even been given it from the new TV rights, it's a catastrophe. It's bad, and it's going to be a half-filled Olympic Stadium. But getting back to the FA Cup, as much as I want us to win, I just think we'll lose out by the odd goal, personally.
Well, I have a much different opinion on that. We'll get your score prediction in a second, Adam. Gonzo, are you more confident?
Sorry, mate?
Are you more confident than Adam?
I am confident. I have to be confident. As I say, I'm going down there. We're taking the kids down there. Do you know what the thing is? Another reason they have to take it seriously is this season the club have not done the half-season ticket, which they normally do, and they've not done that because demand is so high. So, not everybody can afford to go to every game, and because, particularly the Category A games, you're looking at big money to go to them. So the tickets were 25 quid for this one, and cheaper for the kids as well. So there's going to be a lot of people there who this might possibly be their last chance to see West Ham at the Boleyn. So I think really, they owe it to the fans to put out a good team and to have a real go for it. And if we put out that team, no resting, what you said earlier, by the way, Andy Carroll can't play the weekend and Tuesday. It's too much of a risk because he's too injury prone, I believe. So I think if we go for it, we play all our players, regardless of what Wolves, we beat them because we have got very, very, very good players at the moment.
The one thing I think is different between West Ham this season, West Ham the previous 3-4 seasons, I think we're a lot more professional this season and we know how to get the job done on the pitch. The prime example for me was at home to Newcastle. Bilic knew exactly what we had to do. Just sit there, Newcastle would come at us and leave their defence wide open. That's exactly what Newcastle did, and we just got the job done. And I think when you talk about grinding out draws, that is Bilic and his opinion in that getting the job done. Turn up, take the point and leave. We've got the job done. We did it against Liverpool. I don't even think we hit top gear against Liverpool because I don't think we had to. I think Bilic had it so well worked out that I don't think we had to play. The players didn't have to put in a 10 out of 10 performance because we just didn't have to. We got the job done. And I think that's what we'll do on Saturday. I think we'll get the job done. I don't think it's going to be fancy. I don't think we're going to thrash them. But I think we'll comfortably go into round 4 without causing a scene, without any panic. Adam, score prediction.
I think we'll lose 2-1. I'm wrong, but I think we'll lose 2-1.
I'll tell you something, I admire your honesty and the fact that you are sitting there thinking we're going to get beat. I do appreciate that and admire it, and I know a lot of people will as well. Gonzo, score prediction.
Well, it's got to be the hardest one of the season, isn't it? I mean, we don't know anything about the Wolves team. Well, Adam clearly does. We don't know what team we're going to play, so it's very, very hard. So I've got to judge it as if we're playing our best team against a team a division lower, and as you say, we're more professional. We're tighter at the back, and we're scoring more goals. I think we're going to beat them 4-0.
I'm not that optimistic. I'm going to go for a very comfortable, very professional, and a very boring 2-0 win. I don't think it's going to be anything fancy. Gonzo, thank you for coming on again.
Thank you.
Adam, thank you as well.
No worries, pleasure.
And all you guys watching out there, give us your score prediction. Put your neck on the line. Just comment it below, and we'll make sure at hammerschat.com, we'll make sure we pop back and reply to everybody. Keep an eye on what your score predictions are, because it's going to be interesting anyway. What team do you want to see? Do you want to see players rested? Do you think Bilic should put out his first 11? You're obviously going to agree or disagree with one of us, because none of us have got the same opinion. Let us know in the comments below, or come on to hammerschat.com and click on the forum. 100% free. Join up, get involved with your fellow fans. Anyway, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button, because there's new content coming from hammerschat.com. Lips are sealed on what though, but I can assure you it's going to be an absolute belter. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.